course, we had another character there called Ted Withers, who just happened to be probably one of the best fishermen that ever fished Berowra waters. And he had a boat. My father built the guest house that Ted owned, Ted and his wife Ada, and the Dad built it. I can remember as a child being down there and working with Dad, cutting noggins for the frame of that guest house, which was the guest house, I forget what they call it now, but it's the one Rocky Gattalari had. My father built that, and when I was about, I suppose I'd be about 11 or 12. Anyhow, Ted subsequently got his boat shed, and he used to be renowned for his great fishing ability, and of course in those days, people used to come to Berowra waters, fish for the bream. It was probably the best brimming spot in around Sydney or Central Coast or wherever. And he used to have these, particularly people from the racing fraternity, like jockeys and horse trainers and owners. Just to name one of the famous trainers used to go down, Mick Paulson, that just took that horse to America and won that big race in America with a horse called Wanuka. And he had the likes of Jimmy and Darby Munro used to come down there, and Teddy McMiniman, Podmore boys, the George and Arthur Podmore, they're all jockeys. Anyway, Ted used to have this little trick. He used to take these people out brimming at night time. He had this particular spot that he used to take them to, and it was underneath this big oak tree that used to hang out over the water. And anyway, Ted was one of those people that loved his rum. And of course, being winter time, he'd get stuck into the rum and he'd take these people out fishing. In those days they didn't anchor the boat to fish. We used to call what we used to call drifting. We used to drift up and down the shore, and you'd have the oars very quietly row the boat up and down the shore. The tide would take you down, then you'd come back up underneath the oak tree and very quietly row back up. Of course, the tide wasn't very strong down there. You didn't move very far. Of course, what the people didn't know was that Ted used to have the boat near where this oak tree used to hang over. But in the daytime, Ted would have had his family were owned a butcher. They had butcher shops in Sydney, and they used to get these sheep's heads. And Ted used to hang one of those sheep's heads in the oak tree. Of course, the blowflies would come along by the millions and blow the maggots would subsequently drop into the water. Well, this is the greatest burley in the world for bream. But this particular night, Ted had taken this party out fishing, and he'd kept them away from weather. But subsequently he's on the rum, and he just drank a bit too much rum, and he passed out. He went to sleep. Of course, the next thing, the boat's underneath the oak tree, and the people are fishing, and these maggots are dropping down. And they're all starting to wonder, what's that coming out of this tree? And cut a long story short, eventually somebody said, oh, I've got to get out of here. I don't know what it is. Of course, you can't put a light on when you're brimming. That's a no-no. Everything you had to do, you did it in the dark if you're going to be a good brim fisherman. Of course, they rowed out. Of course, poor old Ted wakes up and he said, here's all his clients, and they got the bloody maggots full. Boats full of maggots. But they got plenty of good fish.